Good morning, everybody. We are going to get ready for our fourth interactive read aloud, giving us all of the information we need about the Ice Age and where Jack and Annie are going next. So remember, when you're listening today, I want you to think about something that is new that you never knew, like something you didn't know before that you learned, or maybe a new word. Think about something, a new vocabulary word you learned. Or you can always choose to write about the question that they ask at the end. So let's see. Today we're going to be exploring caves. Sounds kind of creepy. Caves are dark spaces underground. It takes two things for a cave to form: rock and water. As water drips down through the earth, it slowly wears down rock, and a cave opening begins to form. It takes thousands of years for this process to happen. What is it like to be inside a cave? Imagine you're inside a cave. What do you think you would see and hear? Caves have their own ecosystem. The climate inside a cave feels wet or damp, and the temperature stays the same all year. Deep inside caves, there can even be lakes filled with water. Just like the rainforest, cave ecosystems have areas with different amounts of light. The three zones are the entrance zone, the twilight zone, and the dark zone. In the Ice Age, early humans and other animals used caves for shelter. We know that early humans were in caves because they made paintings on cave walls that can still be seen today. These paintings help us understand what their life was like. Many animals still use caves for shelter. Some animals only spend a little time in caves, like bears when they're hibernating for the winter, or bats when they're sleeping. Other animals spend their whole lives deep inside caves' dark zones. What do you think it would be like to spend your whole life in a dark zone of a cave? When animals that live in the dark zone of caves are well adapted, the animals, that live in the dark zone of caves are well adapted for life in total darkness. Many of the animals that live here don't need to see, and some do not have eyes at all. This means that many dark zone creatures rely on senses other than sight to find food or each other. Cave predators, like this blind cave salamander, uses smell and sound to sense when their prey are nearby. Scientists explore caves to learn more about how they form and what lives inside. People who are not scientists like to explore caves too. Exploring a cave is called splunking. Splunkers need special equipment, clothes that keep them warm and dry, a helmet to protect their heads, and a headlamp to see in dark places. It's also important to have rope, shoes that can grip slippery rocks, and gloves to protect their hands. In the entrance zone, spelunkers do not need their headlamps. There is enough light coming from outside of the cave for them to see. There is enough light coming from outside of the cave for them to see. As they go deeper into the twilight zone, spelunkers will need to turn on their headlamps. By the time they reach the dark zone, the ceiling may get so low that they have to crawl on their hands and knees. This space is called a crawlway. Do you think you might like crawling through a crawlway in the dark zone? What would it feel like? At the end of the tight crawlway, the space opens up into a big area called a chamber. Geologists have discovered amazing rock formations in cave chambers. Geologists are scientists who look at the shape of rocks and crystals and think about how they formed. Geologists give cave rocks names based on things the rocks remind them of, like soda straws, cave bacon, cave popcorn, and cave balloons. What would you name these rock formations? This one looks like an eel. Two rock formations you see in a cave are stalactites and stalagmites. These are stalactites. They're formed when water and tiny bits of rock drip down in the same place over thousands of years and harden. They look like icicles hanging from the ceiling. These are stalagmites. They look like stalactites, except they form on the ground instead of on the ceiling. They formed when water mixed with tiny sand-like pieces of rock drips down onto the floor of a cave. Over thousands of years, these layers of tiny rocks become stalagmites. Have you ever dripped wet sand out of your hands? Stalagmites are formed in the same way, just by tiny drops of water over thousands of years. Caves are dark, damp ecosystems with unique animals and rock formations found no place else on Earth. Some also have clues to what life was like for early humans in the Ice Age, left in paintings on cave walls. So here's the one thing you can choose to write about, or you can choose something from the glossary page. Think about everything you have learned about caves. If you were building a model cave, what would you want to put in it? So they showed you, here's a drawing, the fish, the stalactites and stalagmites and bats. So, or you could choose something from here, the glossary. This is the cave painting, a helmet, fish, splunker, bats, crawlway, stalactites, and stalagmites. So we will see you back for our live meeting in a little bit. Bye.